y'all. We are back. This is Those to Watch Radio. We are here with Colors with our guest host, Miss Paisley.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, and we got our first guest here tonight is Mr. PD, the CEO.
Everybody Grounds Radio founder.
What's going on?
What's up, man? It's always good to see you, man. God, we go back so many years. 2007, 6, I know it was like that. Probably 5, you want to do MySpace. You always... No, always, on the next thing. Like they was talking about the joys. I'm like, PD been on that.
Right.
Well, like you said,
I never seen it. Basically, today we were at the video shoot and we were walking up and I see a drone. I was like, what is that? He was like, that's the camera. I was like, really now? And I'm sitting there all gazing. Colors was like, so? I didn't do that. PD does that. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, of course he does that. I was like, oh. But I thought that was
it's like when you had the barcode scan for the CDs, nobody caught on. So the last couple of years, now all of a sudden everybody, you can also flip it on the back and scan and get my CD download free.
So that brings us to the fact I'm new, so some of our new listeners, I'm gonna speak on their behalf. Right. They've known y'all, for some years or whatever. Obviously, you're an innovator. You've been on some things that people are just now getting on. Right. How do you get to that level as far as decide? How do you get that idea, or how do you play around with that to get that type of innovation?
I mean, for me, I always, my thing is about learning. It's about education. Mm-hmm. So I always say, I'm going to pay you to do something, and after I pay you, I'll know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to pay attention to what you're doing. Then I'm going to educate myself in a sense to figure out what was done to get the same result. You know what I'm saying? So that's my focus, just to learn everything I can learn and be better, be childlike. So that's my focus.
Right. There's always curiosity and then exploring and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, kind of going back, PD the CEO, give us a backstory again for some of the listeners, how you got your start and with your production company and things like that.
Okay. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to just say 10 years invested in a bunch of people who shouldn't have been invested in.
Oh, wow.
Equals me being bored. So I create Nobody Grinds DVD to have something to do while I'm waiting on artists who don't want to work. As a result, that kind of took off and I opened it up to the city because originally it was just for those artists. Mm-hmm. Then I opened it up to the city and we say about 17 DVDs later, we pretty much had worked with almost everybody here. Mm-hmm. I wrote Russell Simmons one time on Twitter, and I asked him, how can South Carolina get on? And he said, look at every other state. They all have some representation on a daily basis. Like, you look at Texas, they're going to have a new video dropping every day. Some artists from Texas, probably going to be 20 or 30 of them. Georgia, the same thing. Florida, the same thing. The artists are always working. It's not just a song anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, well, visually, South Carolina, we needed to step it up. So I bought a camera, didn't know what I was doing, started shooting. That's it. Wow. That led me to, Nobody Grinds DVD led me to, okay, this is DVD, it's coming out every other month. I needed to come out quicker. So I started Nobody Grinds Network, so that way we're getting into the information age, the internet age, where we got to be able to come out. If we did something today, it's got to come out today.
Right.
So we can't wait for a month for a DVD to drop. So we started the network, and then as a result, couldn't get airplay on the regular terrestrial radio, so we started Nobody Grinds Radio. It was all in support of those artists that didn't want to work. So
trials and tribulations, obviously.
Exactly.
And years and dedication and commitment.
Right.
Yeah, you let other people's lack of grind slow down your grind. Like my pops used to tell me, you always hold on to these anchors. Mm-hmm. So I had to let go of the anchors. After I let go of the anchors, it just kept moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to grind harder for you.
Yeah, nobody grinds
that's how it's supposed to be. Some people just sitting around.
Right. But on top of that, you've given a platform for
yes, the platform.
For so much stuff, the radio station.
Yeah.
That we're happy to be a part of, the videos you shoot, then the way you change the video game from, even though you got some flack from, but at the same time people had to respect it. $35 for 2 scenes, and people acting like they paid $3,500 and trying to front.
Wow.
And then the other videographers had to come down in price because everybody was getting with you with promos.
I mean, listen, I did the research on how much all this costs. Listen, my efforts, my education, and the equipment that I bring is gonna be worth the the finished product if you pay for the quality.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Listen, I caught flack from everybody. I caught flack from the people who went to school to do this stuff because they was like, oh, you ain't even went to school. You know what I'm saying? Then the people who were already shooting, the going price here was about between $500 and $1,000.
Yeah.
So how can we accomplish what I was told we needed to accomplish at that price point? It didn't make sense to me anyway, because I had 9 artists. I couldn't afford to spend $900 for each artist every time it came time.
Right.
Especially when the camera was $700.
Right.
So it only made sense to actually go buy the camera and just do
Produce
trial and error, so I was horrible. But in anything you do, you're going to start off bad and hopefully you get better. And that was the focus. And Charleston is the type of city where if they don't want to support you, they will never see you get better. So I'm pretty sure now, like, people sharing, if somebody say, who's a videographer, or they say, oh, I like Petey, they'll share one of Color's old videos when we first started and be like, this how Petey shoot right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? To throw people off. But that's not my focus. My focus is marketing and promotion,
Well, you know how it is. They click on your old video. Your new videos are tagging on the. So
listen, I'm with it.
Basically, they see the progress. They can't deny it.
I could easily take it down or start a new YouTube or only have like my website. I have pretty much what comes from this year. Like the work I did this year, and then next year I switch it up. The work I did that year.
Yeah.
So.
And the evolution, basically.
Exactly.
So people who would like to see your work, or what's your social media handles and stuff like that?
PD the CEO. So PD the and CEO all together. You can find me on all social media platforms and jigmediafilms.com. That's the website. So
say that again one more time.
jigmediafilms.com. That's the website.
jigmediafilms.
Yeah, it's on the shirt.
Yeah.
And when you say that saying, it's funny how I like how I did that. JIG became JIG. Break down, like, what do you mean by that for the ones who don't know?
Yeah, I mean, JIG came from an old nickname, and it came from a street situation, like an old hustle. So basically, we changed the product, but we kept the same name. So it's like, basically, JIG became JIG, like how I did that. Even the same essence, because I started off as an artist. So he's quoting a rhyme from one of my songs. But even in the sense of looking at JIG Music Group, I just let that, the website, I just let the domain go, which was kind of hard to do because I was paying for it for the last 3-4 years for no reason. But I just let that go because JIG Media pretty much took that place. So once again, it's another evolution of the JIG.
So you think you ever get back into like really like having artists on your label? Those days is like done.
I mean, I love music. I just hate artists. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a problem. That's the problem. Like, I hate people wasting my time.
Right.
Even in the sense of like taking a meeting. I always tell people like, because you need this meeting, I'm gonna take the meeting with you. Right. But for me, you say, I want to do this, and I say, okay, let's do it. That's my focus. That's what I do. Like, I don't want to start something that we're not going to finish, and I don't want to take a whole bunch of time talking about it. Like, let's talk about it, then let's plan it, then let's execute.
Yeah.
And that's my focus. Like, I'd rather do than just talking about it.
What's the biggest problem you had with your artists?
I mean, I'm not gonna sit and bash them.
Oh, no, not bashing. I'm talking about a general
I'll say the
situation.
biggest problem, because this is the biggest problem. The biggest problem I have with my artists is I didn't understand.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing wrong to them. Because I would pick them up. I would go to the store, buy food, buy something to drink.
Bill
We
Cosby,
we would hook up the food, grill, whatever.
Right.
You know, then we would go to work. All of the beats came from producers that worked for me, so you didn't have to pay for beats.
Right.
All the recording was on me. You didn't have to pay for anything. So pretty much I put hard-working people in a position to become complacent. Because when you can be in the studio all day, every day,
Yeah.
and it's not costing you anything,
Right.
you start wasting people's time.
True that.
You know, because it's not, the value isn't the same.
True that.
If you can get unlimited beats, then you start wasting producers' beats.
True that.
So because I didn't understand that I was causing more harm than help, ultimately I think I kind of messed up a lot of artists who probably had potential if they had that same drive when I met them, and they still had to have that same drive all the way through their journey. So I put it on me.
So you don't feel like, like we talked before, you feel like if somebody ain't paying for something, they don't appreciate it the same.
Not even paying, I just say working for it.
Okay.
You know, because if I do everything for you, you know, what's your incentive to work hard?
Shouldn't it be like, oh, let me try to match you?
That's like a rich kid, like a rich kid that has everything, and they know they're gonna have everything, and they know they're rich, and they know like I could lose $20 million and I'm still gonna be good. Like, what's their incentive to really go out and get it for themselves? There is no incentive. You know, you handicap people that way. You know,
like somebody who stay broke and every time they about lose their place, they be like, "Can I borrow some money?" Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, like perfect story. Somebody told me, "Oh man, I need $20." And I said, okay, I can give you $20, or we can take this $20 and go make business cards, and you can go sell your service and get several $20.
Right.
And this person said, I'll take the 20. So when you took that 20, you put yourself in a position where I'll never lend you money again, because you had the opportunity to fish and you chose just to eat the fish dinner. Nothing I could do for you.
I got it.
I just say you lead the horse to the water.
Yeah, but you can't
Drink.
make her drink at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Oh, good Lord! Like the fact that you got so much. What's next? Like what's next? 'Cause you got videos. You manage models. You went through that.
Oh,
spurt.
never again. Models is like artists.
You get heavy into the graphics. I know you did the Meet the Monfly. You did a lot of artists out here. CD covers. That may not.
No, what I want to do is tell stories. That's what I realized.
A lot of short films, short movies.
Yeah, not even just that.
Okay.
I realized that everything that I did, starting off with poetry, then becoming an artist, and blah 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 blah, even making beats, it was all about telling stories. Because if I made a beat that was very sentimental and it really meant something to me, I could never hear words over it. I would never give it to an artist. I would never write to it.
In your own way.
I would just sit and listen to that music because that told me a story. So everything I did was about telling a story. That's why most of my recent work, it's not scenes anymore. It's not you standing by the car, then you standing by the wall, then you walking down the street. Now it's like, okay, you come to me with an idea and you like, oh, it's a breakup. Okay, let's show the breakup. To the point where when we finish the video, I could damn near make it a movie in its own without the music, you know, and that's my focus now. Shoot more, tell more stories, even in the sense of promoting. That's what I liked about Paisley. When I first seen her, when I filmed the monologue she did from, I think, A Different World, and I was just looking at the way you told the story, it was like super dope. Just seeing how you came across and how you told the story, how you used yourself as that instrument doing that, which is sad to hear that you're leaving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
that don't hurt me too, because I mean her energy is just so.
I'm not mad at she about to be my plug in
Thank
Atlanta.
you. It's not sad. Trust me, I'm the type of person, I know I have to go. There are certain opportunities for me in Atlanta that I can't get here. But I know that once I'm able to tap into, plug and get myself in a position, then I'm definitely going to come back and help when I can. I did the same thing when I was in Houston too, when I had communications contacts at those stations. So it's not sad per se. I mean, I will be an absence for a while, but I'm definitely coming back.
Gotcha.
definitely coming back.
Yeah, that's the thing. We losing a lot of talent. And the unfortunate thing is, even in artistry, a lot of artists leave here and go to Atlanta, not realizing that the majority of artists you see coming up now in Atlanta was little kids working hard under artists that was coming up in Atlanta. Like Future was with Organized Noise.
Really?
You know, yeah, he was a young kid under Organized Noise. For those who don't know, Organized Noise is Goody Mob and, you know, Outkast producers. And that's the point. Like, when they get to Atlanta, they realize Atlanta only got Starbucks for them. Like, you can go work for Starbucks and, you know, sit like the rest of the newcomers. We gonna make sure we put on the natives. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way they work. And I just feel like we people gotta actually take responsibility for their work and recognize, like, you want to make it in Charleston, cool. It's easy to make it in Charleston. Put yourself on. Put your money up. Throw your own shows so you can make more money, and throw a bigger show so you can make more money, and throw a bigger show so you can make more money, and fund your own tour so you can make more money. You see what I'm saying? Like,
but do you think we have a support problem here? I feel like I see that a lot.
I want to say that, but the problem is that we don't. Because if you look at artists like Benny Starr and you look at all of those people downtown, these people come together from the college and start working together in our city. Throwing events, throwing parties, on the radio station. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Chris Kalin. She's on the station now. Vaughn was on the station. They pretty much the same network. Cocktail Divas, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Ill Vibe Tribe. Like,
there's a lot of them.
it's so many people down there that's, unless it's not the whole city of Charleston that's like, we're behind these people. Like, most of the regular Charleston artistry, you know, like network, don't even know those people exist. But it's just a few of them that's making moves and making waves on their own. What we're doing is we get together and say, oh man, if we just supported each other, then what? What would really happen if you just supported each other? Because if you ask, when was the last time you bought a CD? Most people would tell you they ain't bought a CD and they don't know how long. Except for, and I'm not talking about when you strong arm. See, hand to hand is kind of strong arming you. I came to the store to buy some milk. I didn't come to the store to buy a CD. But because I'm at the store and you holding the CD up to my head, I feel inclined to give you this $5 that really I probably need. Had I was going to listen to some music, I would have went where I go to listen to music.
Right.
If I wanted to buy music, I would have went where I go to buy music.
And most people are, like you said, are not buying music. So obviously the avenue is digital. Like if you're putting it on SoundCloud or the other
iTunes, Napster.
Yeah, those, I forget
the one you talk about with a kid.
Yeah, I'm totally against SoundCloud because SoundCloud they're not going to pay you, and their contract is kind of messed up. So I say go DistroKid, where you can put your music up on iTunes and all those other platforms and actually get paid when people listen. So instead of you know, hitting me with the strong arm robbery with your CD, you give me a download card or give me a flyer where I could just scan it with my phone and it'll take me right to your album and I can play it. And I could literally put my phone on silent, put it on the charger, and play your songs all through the night while I'm sleeping, and you getting paid. You know what I'm saying? But the problem with that is people aren't willing to invest on the front end.
Right.
Why can't you put your music on iTunes? Because you don't own the beats. You know,
there's avenues before.
Why are you shooting videos with a song that say purchase your track today?
No.
Now when you put your video up, they're gonna flag your video. Instead of you making money from your video, somebody else is making money from it. Or they're just cutting it off altogether. You know, so it's just an education thing. And when you come and try to talk to people here, they're like, oh, how far you made it? Well, if I was making money for over 10 years in this game, but I ain't never made it to no mainstream point, wouldn't you think I knew the mistakes I made and could tell you the mistakes I made so that you could avoid them? Or should I let you run into the same bush and tree that I hit?
I think people honestly underestimate the impact or how, I guess they feel like if you're not mainstream, then you ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Like, independent is very much profitable. People are, like you said, when you own all avenues of that, all that money is coming to you rather than you paying all these middle people for beats or masters and this and that.
Listen, I was charging businesses $35 for a commercial. If I came to your business and filmed a commercial, you could use that commercial on television, $15 on the off time, at the most $65 during prime time to have your commercial played in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So you pay $35 for the commercial, and you pay $15 to $60 every time it gets played on TV. Or you can pay Google $10, and they're going to run that same ad. You can pay Facebook $5 or $10. They're going to run that same ad to thousands of people in your area. But you'd rather your business close down because you didn't budget for promotion. Or because you see me coming to your shop and you said, oh, he trying to get me to pay for something.
Even though it's the cheapest price ever.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a mindset thing. Even with artists, like I used to do like $75 for a video. If you worked that food line, you could afford to have a bunch of videos when your album dropped. But artists didn't jump on it. Now that the price is higher, they're like, oh, man, y'all know anybody who's shooting videos? And then you go to realize that, yo, PD had the lowest prices because he was trying to show love.
You know how many times I heard that?
You know what I'm saying? So now if you don't want to pay PD, you go pay them other cats because they prices been high. Where my price is at now, their prices is double that. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's the mindset here. And I look forward to the newer, younger generation coming up. You know, I look forward to the younger generation coming up and not listening to the older generation just because they're older, but taking quality advice and listening to quality advice.
Definitely. I want to definitely get into that. How'd you connect with SC Poet? You know, I mean, I know you've known him forever. Like, how did you make that move? I mean, I think that's a real power move right there. So you there filming?
Nah, basically, wifey, shout out to Dream Bella. She talked to Georgia and she was like, yeah, you need to talk to my husband. And then Georgia took like another month and she came to her and was like, you still ain't talked to my husband. And it was like, basically just listen, let's just connect. Like, don't be afraid to talk. Like, let's talk, let's connect.
Yeah, I seen since you come on board, I seen your touch with the massive flyers, a massive
we gonna work.
Ad promo, you know.
That's the one thing I say, like, don't come to me unless you're ready to work. Plain and simple. Like, if you say, oh, I got this movie in 3 years from now I want to do, okay, why are you talking to me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask you, I really would love to see you start working on a movie. I like your style. Like, you know what I mean? It's signature to me. Like, I can tell yours from somebody else's without even seeing the jig. You feel me? Like, you thinking about working on something like that?
Yeah, I had the Trap since for like 3 years now. The Trap is basically a movie about voter suppression, about people not voting, because I got tired of seeing people say, oh, don't vote, your vote don't count. So the logic was basically this person seen a movie that inspired him. What was it? Selma. You know, seen a movie Selma and was inspired by it, and he tried to inspire his community, his friends, and he got a lot of pushback. That person ends up dying tragically in the middle of the push to get people to get motivated. as a result, his people go back to what they normally do. They didn't vote. Well, there was a provision on the ballot that said black people would go back into slavery.
Woo.
So no black people voted. So after that, we were slaves again. And it's a lot of people now who I don't know what my time is, but I'll make it quick. It's a lot of people now who say, if I was here back in slavery time, I'd shoot this person, I'd kill this person. Listen, you in slavery time now. If the police stop you right now and say, listen, let me put you in chains, let me drag you against your will, let me put you somewhere that you don't want to live, and let me bring you out and let you work for pennies or work for food, you'll go with them. You'll go to the court. You'll accept whatever they give you, and you'll go work. You'll go do that same work that you say you wouldn't do 400 years ago.
Right.
Because you have to. There's
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing you can do. Right.
So the point is, you know, you do have a choice, and I just say that real quick. For anybody who says that voting doesn't matter, if it didn't matter, why are they fighting so hard to stop you?
There you go.
And you know, and that's the whole point. Like, they wouldn't be fighting hard to stop you. They ain't fighting hard to stop you from killing yourself because they want you to kill yourself.
Right.
They fighting hard to stop you from voting because they don't want you to vote. They don't want you to have intellect. That's the reason why they put you in these institutions that really don't want to teach you. You know what I'm saying? The value of your education is the value of you educating yourself. So everything you see me do, whether you like it or dislike it, it comes from my thirst of knowledge, for me wanting to learn how to do something. If you don't like me and you want to do your own thing, you could have easily went to my site, seen it was provided by Crikey, or even asked me and I would have told you. And then you could have made your own station and do it better. You know what I'm saying? The whole point is just do your thing. If you think you can do better than I do with a camera, go get you a camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, my point is not to be anybody's competition. My point is for you to understand that these people are going to kick you off their job when they feel like it. So make your own job.
There you go.
Woo! Tell how to find you, man. Tell how to find you, man.
Right.
And that.
Nice.
Oh,
Thank you,
tell us
PD.
where to find you.
One more time.
PD the CEO everywhere, or jigmediafilms.com.
Nice.
Appreciate your time.
All right. We gonna hopefully get we about we hopefully get a record. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you as always. You know, we're gonna get into Chi, long time coming in, famous new artist. You know what I'm saying? Green Land. You know, we're gonna get to one of our records and we're gonna come back with her.